Shalom and welcome to Torah Jewce. My name is Joshua. Thank you for watching. This week's Torah portion is Tzav, but we also have an extra Torah portion called Parshah Zachor. This is one of the four special Parshas that we read prior to Pesach. The second one, the first one is Shekalim, which talks about the holy shekel. And then we talk about Parshah Zachor, which is always read the Shabbat prior to Purim. Which is actually happening, tonight at sundown. Purim begins and goes through tomorrow night at sundown. And also, the next one is a Shabbat Para Adumah, about the red cow, okay? And then Kodesh, the sanctification, the Holy Shabbat, or also Shabbat HaGadol is actually the Sabbath before Pesach, or during Pesach, but Shabbat Kodesh. Okay, so this week I'd like to talk about Parshah Zachor. All right, Parshah Zachor. Zachor means to remember. It is the root of Zechariah, which means Hashem will remember. What are we supposed to remember? Well, we read in the book of Devarim, chapter 25, verses 17 through 19. Just 3 verses that we read here, 17, 18, and 19. And this is, the sages teach us that all males, it's a mitzvah that all males hear this reading, Parshah Zachor, to remember. Well, I'm going to read it to you. And this is what we're supposed to remember. Hashem tells us it's a positive mitzvah. It's a commandment by Hashem. Remember what Amalek did to you on the way when you were leaving Egypt, that he happened upon you on the way, and he struck those of you who were hindmost, all the weaklings at your rear, when you were faint and exhausted, and he did not fear Hashem. It shall be that when Hashem your God gives you rest from all your enemies all around in the land that Hashem your God gives you as an inheritance to possess it, you shall wipe out the memory of Amalek from under the heavens. You shall not forget. Now I say Amalek, I say Amalek. Amalek is the English, the Hebrew is Amalek. Okay, Amalek was a grandson of Esau. He's an Edomite. Physically, it's said that the Amalek means dweller of the valley. And when the Israelites left Egypt, all of the nations were afraid because of the miracles that God had performed for Israel, except for one people, Amalek. Amalek attacked them because, as I just read, he had no fear of God. None. So he attacked God's people. And he didn't attack the strong in the front. He attacked the weak and the tired and the exhausted and the young children from behind. Not only is it a physical attack, but it's also a spiritual and emotional attack. When the weakest of you are brutally attacked, sometimes it weakens our resolve. Sometimes it strengthens it, and we call for vengeance, and we want to do what Hashem says, command to eradicate the memory. But sometimes it strikes us as it's illogical. It's, why would people do that? Unfortunately, over the past couple weeks, we've been in mourning for the Fogel family in Itamar. I've been blessed by Hashem, as my family has, in order to be able to support the settlement in Itamar through our prayers and through some funding that Hashem has blessed us with. So it hits us rather closely. I know that my Rabbi Richmond, has family in Itamar. In fact, I believe that his son-in-law is the mayor, and that his sons study Torah in Itamar. A heinous act where a father and a mother and 3 of their children were brutally slain by evil Muslims. Call it like it is. This is not a religion of peace. This is a religion of hatred. In fact, this is not even logical. And this is like a spirit of Amalek. Yes, Amalek is Edom. Edom is Europe, the European Union, who supports and with money and funding, and in fact is incorporating the laws of Ishmael into their society. Edom doesn't like the Jews any more than Ishmael does. In fact, they support them and help them and antagonize them. But this hatred is inbred from the very beginning of time. This goes back all the way to Esau's hatred of Jacob, and it's continued through the ages. Anti-Semitism is a result of Amalek. Haman in the story of Esther is a descendant of Agag, which is the king of Amalek, who Shaul didn't kill and should have wiped them out. He wiped out all, but he had pity on Agag and of the animals, which he was supposed to slaughter. Totally. So we have this battle that we are commanded, this positive mitzvah, to erase. But the Torah tells us that the reason that we have Amalek around us is it's our own doing. It's not because Hashem just made this evil up to oppress us just because. Remember what happened right before Amalek attacked Israel. They asked the question. Is Hashem amongst us or with us or not? It was a lack of emunah. It was a lack of faith. It was a question of doubt that mobilized Amalek to attack. This happens also within our own selves. Whenever we have moments of doubt, whenever we allow materialism and our jobs and anything to come upon us and influence us and to distract us, we empower Amalek, who has no fear of God, within ourselves. The Yetzer Hara, the rebellious spirit. This is Amalek. And it is in each one of us as well. So not only is it a physical thing and a physical people, but it is a spiritual thing that affects the whole world. We must root it out of ourselves. We must root it out of the world. We must have fear of Hashem, fear of His Torah, and fear of His people. When we do not have these things, then the spirit of Amalek is victorious. How can we beat them? By strengthening our emunah, by reading and doing Torah, by praying and having fear of Hashem first and foremost, and that is what we should do. It's very important. Thank you for watching this brief little portion of Zachor. Let's beat and eradicate Amalek today. Shalom, shalom.